Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Living Astrology with Janet Hickox. It's time to grab your cup of coffee or your tea and sit back, relax, so we can chat about what is happening up in the stars above us for this week. This is the very last week of August, if you can even believe that one. I can't believe how fast, every year when we do the astrology for 2024 or 2020X, whatever year is coming up, I always think, "Oh, wow, we have this whole year ahead of us," and then it goes by so fast, right? Here we are at the last, full month anyway of summer, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and heading into the fall, and it's certainly beginning to feel like fall where I live. I don't know about all of you because I see lots of heat still around the country, but here, it's very fall-like, and I was noticing yesterday as I was having lunch with my brother that the trees are turning red, right? The maples are starting to turn that golden reddish color that they turn. And I don't know where the time has gone, but that's all right. Today, we have a lot to talk about, but I also wanted to go back to something we were talking about on Friday with looking at people's human designs and talking about what your cosmic purpose is and your life purpose, right? By the placement of the sun in your charts. So I pulled up Christine Buckingham's chart this morning because, God help me, she was the only one that I could remember that said, choose me, and I might have that wrong even. But I have the program open so we can run through these pretty quick this morning and give you an idea of how you can tell the story of your life, of your purpose for being here with very little trouble, right? It's very simple in a way to be able to do that. So I see J Lo out there. Good morning to you. Debbie Tibbetts Tumiel. I am so sorry that you still have no air conditioning. I I just it boggles the mind as to what is going on there with that. Tom, good morning to you. And Jolie, good morning. Catherine Worcester, she says, good morning. I'm happy to be here. And Christine, yep, I've got yours already ready. Patty, good morning. Do we get a card today? Well, if we have time, definitely. Patricia, we will do that. Or Teddy, whoever's on that particular name this morning. And I thought you asked me to, Jolie, but that's why I have the program open. I can look at this for a lot of different people. Good morning, Narges. It's good to have you with us. J Lo says you can do mine still. Yay! All right. So without further ado, then, so let me just backtrack for a minute because I think most of you were here with me on Friday that I see out there. We were talking about a human design chart, and you all have something that looks similar to this, but without all the writing on it. And the black column of numbers here in a human design chart called the personality is all here. These are all the planets that were here based on your birth date, birth time, and birthplace, although the birthplace doesn't show up here. And this side all represents your soul's purpose or your cosmic purpose, right? You could call it many different things. It is also a representation of the cosmic mind. So, the mind that is really aware as you incarnate on that birth date, what your purpose is for coming here. And that is juxtaposed against the design date, which is a date that occurs about 88 astrological degrees before you were born, or about 90 days. Is this my chart? This is my chart. So I was born on June 19th, and my design date is March 20th. So that's about 90 days before I was born. And that becomes the life purpose side, right? This is how the sole purpose of, in my case, communication, of divine communicator, the channel, is going to play out through spirit, right? The gate 25 is the gate of spirit. So you can see the progression, if you will, of what you came here with, your intention, if you will, and then how is it that I was going to play that out in this lifetime? Because, maybe I've not explained spiritual concepts before using my voice, and in this lifetime, that's what I wanted to do. That's me. This is also based on what we call the body. So, we have the cosmic mind and it comes into the physical body, and it's the body that is going to be the vehicle for you to express your life purposes or your soul purpose. And one other thing, when you're looking at your human design, I'm going to circle this in my chart. these two up here, the sun, right? The sun's position is really going to be about 70% of all that you are. In fact, the black sun, the 12 in my case, is about 70% of what you're here to do and who you're here to be. And all of the other planets all filter through that, right? So that particular placement, the sun in the cosmic purpose side, is the main burrito there, right? It's the Mongo burrito. All right. So let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen, and I hope that's okay with you, uh, Christine, as I, ooh, window, do I have that open? Yes, I do. There we go. The browser can't access your screen. Okay, so let's do this a different way. Let me bring this open up first, then try it. No, not that. I'm toying between or moving between two different browsers. So mostly because I don't know. I've been using Edge, Microsoft Edge, but it kind of drives me crazy right now. It's like not doing what I want it to do. And then I switched back to Google Chrome, and then it doesn't do what I want it to do. And nah. All right, so here we go. Hopefully everybody is seeing that. Let me switch back to uh, the yes. Okay, good. So Christine, this is your chart. And, to do the same thing as we did with mine, we have the sun right here. And you have your sun at the gate 22 here on the open emotional center, right? So you right away, I already realized looking at your chart that you are feeling a lot of emotional energy, and most of it not your own, unless you are by yourself. When you're by yourself, right, you might be feeling the cosmic effects of emotional energy or the collective's emotional energy. But if you're around other people, you're not ever going to be sure whose emotions you're really feeling because you have it open, right? You're taking it in, you're amplifying emotion, and then if you aren't aware of this tendency that you have to do this, you broadcast that emotion. So, an open emotional center is here to become wise about the emotional energy. Like, what am I feeling? Is this my feeling? And asking yourself that question. And if you're really confused about emotions, then move away from the energy of the people that are around you so you can get some clarity. In other words, this is an energy center where you can become overly emotional, overly reactive to the energies, or what else you try to do is to, make the energy stay calm, right? So you're placating maybe, or you're giving up what you want in order to make other people happy so that the energy stays at a lower wave. So there's that. So you have a tendency there to take in other people's emotion as an empath, right? You are very empathic, so you're very aware of what other people are feeling. But at first in your younger life, you likely were confused about the feelings. Am I feeling my feelings? Or you might not have even known to ask the question, whose feelings am I feeling? But we're just always finding yourself trying to people please or keep down the energy. Now, the sun, if we look at the sun at gate 22, this is a sun that is very sensitive and very much emotional energy. In fact, we might even say this is moody energy. The gate 22 is a very lovely energy. It's called the gate of grace. So you come here with an energy in the sun that is extremely emotional and creative, auditory, because you're often hearing the mood as opposed to really sensing it. That, like, all your senses are probably open, but you're really picking up through the auditory channels what the emotional energy is. And in quantum human design, we call this gate the gate of surrender, because essentially this is the grace, right? In the regular traditional human design, it's called grace. It is the grace to know that you're fully supported in by the universal flow of energy, to be abundant and to pursue your passions, and to trust that your unique contribution will be accepted by the world, and to trust that you'll be given everything you need in the moment that you need it in order to be the unique expression of you. Okay. And when this is unbalanced, when especially when you're younger or before you become aware of what this energy is in your chart, the unbalanced expression becomes fear that you're not supported, right? And that you're holding yourself back or you're stifling, as it were, your creative energies because you think you can't afford to pursue it, right? There's a certain amount of holding back, whether you can't afford it energetically, you can't afford it because you'll be vulnerable, or you can't afford it monetarily. So in this, then compromising what you want becomes a sort of habit, right? But yet the soul's energy says, "Come on, sister, let's bring it on." Right? Let's bring it all out. Let's be the creative force in this universe. Now, that's your sole purpose, right? So your sole purpose is to shine your creativity in an abundant and fulfilling way, right? Fulfilling your passions. Now, on the other side, the 26 I always find interesting because now this is the sun that's going to tell you how you're going to play this out in the body, right? Or in the physical world. And we call this the gate of integrity. The gate 26 sits on the will center right here, and you can see you're one of the rarer types that has the will center defined. So you have willpower. You have this endurance or perseverance energy, right, to be able to do what it is that you came here to do. And if we look at the 26 in general, it's about living a moral, energetic, integritous life. But when I say moral, I don't mean that as in being dictated to you from outside of you, Christine. This is something that comes up from within you. So it's about really, I guess there's a lesson here, and it's about learning to value yourself enough to, in this case, express your passions, right? To express your creative self unabashedly, without reserve, right? Being you. Because in the lower expression, as you were younger, perhaps, or beginning to understand your role here on the planet, you might have been compromising your integrity because you feel maybe you're afraid that you just can't get fulfilled in that way, right? Either other people outside of you have given you that sort of feeling, or you really literally, because it's sitting on the resource center, that you can't afford to do what you love. So the pattern here is about really, coming back into your integrity, which is really being in your own skin and learning to do the things that you want to do. Now, the earth is going to bring up some challenges here. So, the earth is challenging you on the soul side by creating, by maybe opening your mind, right? Having you see that your mindset is what is in the way. I noticed that you have a defined head in Ajna, and the 47 sits on the Ajna. The Ajna has certainty, right? It gets into a specific frame of mind, and it is very difficult to push someone out of this frame of mind. And on top of that, you're a thinker. The 47 is a gate of thinking. I don't want to take that away from you for certain. But what it does seem to be is that your mind is circumventing your creative energy by telling you more about what you can't do, perhaps, or who you can't be, or remember, this and these things in your mind become a mindset that then become beliefs, right? So you're working through beliefs to get to your passion, and then on the other side, the earth here is in the gate 45. Interesting, because that, is the gate we talked about on Friday that Jupiter has just moved into until the end of the year. And so it's modeling your earth to you about being in the flow of resources, that your abundance doesn't come from the work you do. It comes from a sort of shift in how you believe that resources are available to you. And it also comes from you be taking on sort of the mantle of leadership and living your life generously, and giving of your time, of your resources, of your energy, of your gifts, sharing of yourself with the world. So that, in a nutshell, is the storyline of you. I hope that made sense. Um, yes, I can try that. Terry Lee, I'm a sponge. Be a sponge. That's the key, and that's another key for you, Christine. With that open emotional center, you're designed to be the screen door, not the sponge. And unfortunately, with that openness, right, you're taking it all in, but instead let it flow through you, informing you, as it were, of what is going on around you. So, bingo. I love it. Okay. And Terry's 63 is wide open. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that. Terry also has an open 22 and an open 26. So, some of you are going to have that open 22 and open 26. So, some of this might sound familiar to you because you're also through those gates taking in the energy of others around you. And so you may be feeling, oh, that sounds a little bit like me. Well, because you're taking it in maybe from people around you who have that energy. And you're meant to be able to get wise about how to use those particular energies. So, not becoming them, but understanding the flow of them through you. Through you. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to just change my screen and get to, I think it was JLo that was next. Clients, okay, and I'm pretty sure Jacqueline, I have you on here. Lopez. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Yes. Okay, now I can share my screen again, and we'll see JLo's chart. Okay, so let's do the storyline with JLo. So again, your sun, the 27, is the main filter. It's the 70 percenter, right? So this particular gate is in the line 1, which by the way, I didn't talk about it with Christine, but she had it in the in the line 2, which is a hermit line, right? So this is a line where your natural gifts are there. They're just waiting to be pulled out of you. Now, JLo, your natural gift here with the line 1 is about investigating, researching, diving deep, right? Getting information. And in the gate 27, which is here on the sacral center, and you can see kind of through this, this is the 27, but you have a lit up sort of sacral center here, right? You have the gate, this is a channel, the 5027. You're a manifesting generator with the 34 up to the 20. You have the entire integration circuit, which I know you know what that means. So this is a very important part of your chart. And the 27, the filter through which all of this is coming through, I'm going to give you two words: nurturing and accountability. And in the nurturing energy, this is the traditional human design energy. This is the energy of mother, right? Of feeding, of cooking for, of housing, of teaching values, of raising up the children, right? This is a gate very much akin to the mama bear that takes care of everyone around her, including at the gate 50, because these gates are together here. So this is a very feminine energy of being the wise mother. Now, the gate 27, however, is where most of this energy is funneling through, and it's the piece that could create some issues, because this also shows us that we're accountable. This is where the word accountability comes in, that you're also accountable for taking care of you, right? It's not just about the people you care for, but because the gate 50 on this other side is also defined, there can be a sense sometimes that if I don't keep doing and I don't keep caring and I don't keep, minding everybody's details, that I'm somehow going to fail in my responsibility to my children, to my family, to my, nation, where whatever arena this is playing out, likely with your family, right? Your kids. And then it causes you to become more mothering than real sense of mothering, which is about teaching values, teaching skills, and helping those people, those young people in your care, become accountable for themselves, right? So you're really, from a soul level, you came well equipped, I would say, to really understand the concept of you need to care for yourself so that you have enough energy to care for others, but that you're also here on a mission to teach others how to care for themselves, how to become accountable, responsible grown-ups. Okay, that's a big mission. And if we look at then the earth, or excuse me, the sun on the design side, you have creative imagination. This is the gate of fantasy. This is the gate of, I don't know, maybe what you see is the potential as a life purpose, right? 41 is about imagination and creative energy. Maybe you really see the potential of the beings that are in your life, right? Your girls, maybe your sisters or brothers or cousins or whoever is in your family, and you really almost want to. Your nurturing is about bringing out the highest creative energy from them, but don't forget that you also have a vast access to creative energy or to imagination energy, to the energy that has the dream and brings in the dream. And the 41 here is in the line 3, so it makes for a lot of different, um, experiences, challenges, trial and error, breakdowns, breakups, and then breakthroughs, right? So the third line imagination energy here can be very powerful in helping you see the highest potential of those you nurture, right? That would be sort of the life purpose, to live from the highest. But this is a gate that's also paired with leadership energy. And it could be that through your experiences, you lead others to, live out the highest of the values. The 28 over here, the earth, is a struggle, right? This is the gate where we go on adventures, we have challenges, we struggle to find meaning in the world. But you have that meaning that you're here to share as a leader in your family or in the world in some way. So that particular set of gates, that storyline, while they feel almost they feel almost mismatched if you ask me, right? Like 27 and 28 are very disruptive sort of energies. They can be very difficult to work through, but the 4131 sees the higher picture, right? It's got the bigger picture, and it is stretching the boundaries, right? It's stretching the limits because it sees something better, it sees something higher. So in a real way, from your discipline approach of living out the highest meaning of nurturing your family, you are impacting them as leaders of tomorrow, perhaps. So it's an interesting set of gates, I find, for you. Let me know how that lands for you. Uh, wrong, not there, over here. All right. Um, yes, run away from those who don't ask for nurturing, or just keep in mind what you are truly responsible for. Right? You brought these girls into your life, and your job is to raise them from birth, or how, I don't remember if you adopted them or if you birthed them, but either way, you're taking them from their youth into their adulthood, and then you have to let them go. Right? That's the key. We have to let them go. We have to let them then make their own mistakes and launch their lives and things like that. The smother mother doesn't do that, right? It sort of holds on and keeps following them, making sure, "Do you have your backpack? Do you have this? Do you have that?" Kind of energy, even though they've become adults. So, it doesn't mean that you back off and say, "Okay, now, you're on your own." It just means that yet you now have to trust that you have given them all the tools they need to live out the best of their lives and be there when they ask you for more guidance or for help and that type of thing. So, there you go. She says, "Yes, I'm down to only 2 children at home." I love it. I love it, I love it. And exactly, you're seeing that they reach for their full potential. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Just going up here. Let's go to it just flipped by me. Catherine Worcester. Okay, let's see if I have yours. I'm not sure if it's in this program or not, Catherine. As a true Gemini, right? I'm always in between programs. I have like several that I use. Oh, let's see, Worcester. Yes, good. You are here. Okay, now here we go. Catherine. Oh, I haven't shared it yet. Hold on. Got to get back here to Chrome and present my screen so you can actually see it. Boom. Okay. So, Catherine, you have an extraordinary creative energy sitting over here on the personality side. Like this gate one is the most young gate of the entire human design. So this is energy that is meant to come out of you, right? The gate one. And the gate one is sort of fascinating to me because it is it's very creative energy. It is looking for its life purpose. It has a purpose, right? So, be comforted that you have a purpose. And in fact, we call this the gate of purpose. And your purpose, you could almost say, is that of being a role model, right? So the role model is a line, and I can see what year were you born? 86. So you're about 37, or you will be 37 or 38. So you're still pretty young, and you are in what we would call up on the roof stage of this line 6. So you're maybe still looking for that absolute passion that you're here to express, right? You're looking for that most creative purpose. But rest assured that your soul here has the ability to know the authentic self and has a deep connection to life purpose. Right? So the more you ask the question, what is my life purpose? I think the more elusive it becomes. But when you get into your body, boom, over here, this sun is at the gate 4, which is called the gate of possibility. Right? Here's the idea that you can experience whatever it is that you want to experience as long as you're open to the possibility. But the possibility in your chart, gate 4 right here, is connected to the gate of doubt, right? This is doubt. This is logical energy. And in logic energy, and this is not logic energy, right? One is more about being inspired to live out your highest purpose. And so this is totally different energy over here. So it presents you with a bit of a conundrum, right? Your mind is telling you one thing and your senses are telling you something else. So you have a very creative sense, a very creative flair that needs to come out into the world through the act of rising up to possibilities. Is it possible that I can be XYZ? Is it possible? Right? Rather than doubting, which would be the other part of this equation, rather than doubting your heart or your wisdom or your abilities or your talents or your gifts or your skills, we could go on there with words, right? Doubting your heart, right? So staying out of doubt. What the fourth line or what the fourth gate here will help you do is see that all is possible, right? All is possible. When I find my purpose, right? The pressure for you is to fulfill your purpose. I get that, right? But it has a deep quest also for meaning. What is the meaning of life? What am I really here to do? And yet this is such a creative force, right? And that creative force is pushing out of you in whatever way that is. It could be through any number of art forms. It could be through any kind of business relationship. It could be through how you work through your relationships, how you create finances. So the creativity is not limited to what we consider art. It's only limited by your own imagination and your own sense of possibility. And once we're in the possibility realm, right, the sun here is saying you have a life purpose to be creative and then to, in turn, be a role model for others, right? You simply must allow it to move through you. That's the gate 2, the gate of allowing. Sometimes we think of this gate as the self-worth gate, right? The gratitude gate lives here. Gratitude lives here. Faith lives here as well as authenticity living here and trust. So those are the things that you have to get grounded in order to really fulfill your life purpose. When we look at this side, the other part of it is to see the possibilities. And the earth here is that you're a revolutionary. You're shaking up the world in some way. And whether that's, through your craft, whether that's through how you change your life over time, uh, if that's how you revolutionize some part of your life purpose, that's all up to you. But if you try to be like everybody else, you won't have fulfilled the life purpose side, right? So you have to be the cosmic revolutionary, right? You're going to use your gifts, your talents, and your faith and trust that you are a creative being to look at the possibilities and trust that you have a piece of that, even if it's not what everybody else expects of you, because it's not about what other people expect of you. It's about what you expect of you. It's about you getting out of your own way and being the sort of your life purpose is about kind of taking possibilities and running with them and revolutionizing your own life for yourself, right? And then getting called out to share that wisdom in the world through your creative actions, right? The sixth line is about the role model. The two is the hermit, but has natural gifts. So you have a natural gift of seeing the possibilities. You have a natural gift of being different, of being on a wavelength of revolution. So all you need to do is link those two, right? With faith and trust that you're allowed to live your purpose, right? Not being something that somebody else or your family or everybody else thinks you should be, but being you, being you. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, let's see who else there was. Asa. Let me pull Asa's chart up, and then I think um, who was the other one? Catherine, Christine. I did. Asa wants one. I think it was. Oh my goodness, my brain. Oh, it was above Narcisse. Jolie. Okay, so I'm going to do Asa and Jolie, and then I've got to go into what we're doing for today. Which is a lot. Oops. Okay, now let's see. I need to go to my program and find ASA. And of course, ASA's chart is going to model Terry and TJ's chart as well. Terry, my husband, and TJ, his brother, because they're twins. And that's because they were all born at around the same time. So the incarnation cross, which is those first four gates, is going to look very familiar. The type is different, but the energy of the life purpose will be the same. Okay, so let me go back here and share my screen, Asa. And by the way, it's good to see you out here this morning. And let's get her chart. Okay, so Asa is a manifester. So we didn't look at type necessarily for the rest of you, but in a manifester, this chart is all about being the creative, taking taking the creative road, being the creator, being the initiator, right? Having initiative and to go out and to start things and to be in creator mode and to not let outside circumstances stop you from being the creator. The purpose of your life is to create whatever that might be, right? It could be a product, it could be a video, it could be a new line of clothes, it could be designer food, whatever it is, right? You're the creator. When we look at your incarnation cross, which, by the way, the incarnation cross is made up of the sun and the earth, right? That's the incarnation cross. We're mainly looking at the sun and the 70% of what this person is here to do. And this, for you, Asa and Terry and TJ, you three have this signature of being creatively intuitive. So there's this this well of inner knowing, and it's funny because this is a gate that is the most psychic gate on all of human design, and it sits here on the spleen center, which is the center for time and intuition and health. But it is also a place where fear can creep in, and if the fear creeps in, then the decisions you make pull you away from your intuition. And if you allow yourself to feel the fear and listen anyway to your intuition, then you find yourself in the right place, right time, right opportunity, right people, right? So this is a very powerful gate that is all about listening to the inner voice. But here's the thing about the inner voice. It doesn't always keep coming at you and saying, listen to me, do this, do this, do this. It doesn't do that, right? It speaks fairly quietly, and it's more of an internal knowing, I guess we could kind of relate that to. It is sort of something that happens in TJ and Terry's instance, it's going to be happening in response to something that's outside of you. And for you, Asa, it's going to be a response to an inner urging to do or to be or to go or to create or to build, right? So whatever it is, it's that inner voice that says, let's do this. Now, on the other side, the 57 matches up with the 53. And this is the gate of starting stuff, right? This is the gate that says, just go out and do it. It's very manifester like, as in, I have this inclination, this inner nudge, this intuitive, idea. And the sun over here says, go do it. Just do it, right? It doesn't say wait and then do it. Right? This is not waiting energy, Asa. This is, I'm just going to go build it and they will come. And yeah, sometimes that's going to blow up because you have the 57 in the line 3, which is about experiencing, right? Experimenting. It's like life is your laboratory. Your soul came here to be free of constraints, which means you will likely bump up into all different kinds of things. Once you start something, you might find, oops, that wasn't the right thing. So what? I'll start over, right? I can start something new because that's what the sun is over here. So your whole life is literally a series of new ideas putting out into the world that either work or don't work. And then if they don't work, we start over. If they do work, well, then I stick with it for a little bit until I take it as far as I want to. And then another intuition comes along and says, okay, now go that direction. And I do that. Right. So it's it's very experiential energy that you brought to this planet. And that means sometimes the experiences are, these wonderful life experiences, and other times they're, not so good, right? They're like, oops, maybe you shouldn't have done that, right? But it doesn't matter because it's not about failure for you. Now, the challenges, there are challenges here, of course, with the Earth at the gate 51. Sometimes there's just going to be those shocks, right? There's going to be those moments of awakening, the aha moment, right? I think you related a story to me one time. I'm not going to get into the details, but you fell down the stairs after someone roughed you up, and you were like, I'm out of here and I'm leaving and I'm doing a new life, right? That's the kind of shock that awakens you and moves you in a new direction. And the other earth that you have to be able to ground in is going to be ambition and drive. And I wonder sometimes in the line 5, it could be, this is a universalizing kind of line, which means that there are umpteen million things that you could have ambition around and drive to do, but you have to choose something. And therein lies the problem with the gate 53 as the new beginning, the starting things, is that the 54 might have a lot of different ideas about what it is that I'm, curious about or what I want to create, but I need to pick one. And then I can pick another. And then I can pick another. But I have to have some kind of drive. I have to have some kind of ambition. It is running the show here, right? If you look at the earth, even though the sun is is the 70%, the earth is going to tell you where the stumbling points are going to be. And they're going to be about shocks, unexpectedness, the Uranus sort of lightning bolts that happen. And it's also going to be about then choosing the best idea, the drive. What is it that I want to begin? And that all stems from your intuition. And intuition is going to also key you into timing and who to be with to do this kind of stuff. Okay. So it's very importante. I hope that's understandable, right? Let's see what everybody's saying about that. Uh, okay, well, let me know what you think, Gisa. Then I'm going to go do one last one, and that's a Jolie. I hope I have yours in here. Let's see. Gosh, Evans. Okay, that's your last name. I didn't tell you guys this funny thing that happened. One day, I was going to do a reading for Jolie. I knew she was on my schedule, And that day, I had 3 Evanses on my schedule. 3. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, "Are they all related?" But they weren't related. They didn't even know each other. But I had 3 of them in one day. It was last Monday, I think it was, right? All on, that one day, Evanses. Like, somehow Evans just needed help that day. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, Jolie, with your chart on it. Why is it not showing? Hold on, my browser's connecting weird. That is Jolie. Okay. I don't get the issue here. The issue's over. All right, so here's Jolie's chart. And okay, Jolie, you are a manifesting generator, an emotional manifesting generator. And you're you probably don't think this, but your life purpose is so easy to pick out that it just astounds me because you are born with the sun on the gate 29, which is all about saying yes to the right things, commitment, devotion, dedication, right? And whatever it is that you choose, out of all the things that come up in your life, what you choose to be devoted to is what the sun is backing you up in. And you're also a role model here. So the sixth line means likely well, I know you happen to be at the third part now. So you've come down off the roof, you're in the world and you're showing your stuff. Right? You're sharing your gifts and your talents, and you're really showing up in a bigger way in this part of your life than, those earlier two sections of your life. But this is an important energy because it's linked with passion. And remember, this was, where we all were just, let's see, your birthday is in August, right? So we were all there this last week with the sun at the gate 29. What are we saying yes to? And as a manifesting generator, likely multiple things come at you that you could get involved with. And learning to say yes to the right things based on emotions, right? How do I feel about this? Does this feel good? Does this feel right? Is this right for me? Those are the ways that you say yes to the right things. And you need to wait, of course, until they're showing up in your outer world, which means that you're not doing something from meditation or from idea. The idea or the meditation, they're really just the signposts that are showing you that, okay, if this shows up in my outer world, maybe this is something I need to say yes to, right? So saying yes to the right things. Then on the other side, this is the sun on the life purpose side or the body side, and it's about patience. Ha! Who knew, right? The gate 20 is a gate that is really about taking action on the right things and patiently waiting for all of the sacral energy and the emotional energy to come together so that you say yes in the right timing. Not because of a fear or not because of a stressor, but because it's the right thing that I want to devote my energy to. So patience is linked with saying yes, right? Or devotion to a person or a topic or a job or you fill in the blank is dependent upon being patient, waiting patiently. And in a way, you are designed to have multiple balls in the air. There is that because manifesting generators actually do better when they have more things going on. So there's that. That's good. But when you are really passionate about something, passion here on the earth, um, it's worth saying yes to something that is really true for you and then patiently waiting for the action at the gate 34 to take place. Right? To take the action piece for you is dependent on patience, but also on saying yes to the right things. Right? And the gate 29 is here on the sacral, right here. So it is really patience, right? It's also multicolored here. So you have more than one thing here. You have your Pluto at the gate 29, you have your sun at the gate 29. So I think those are the only two, but still these form a major transformation in your life, right? Saying yes to the right people, saying yes to the right opportunities, huge in your life. Commitment, devotion, and choosing the right things. And the right things are the things that you're passionate about, the people that you're passionate about, and then taking action from outside of you, not from inside of you. I hope all that makes sense. Yours is pretty darn easy to see. The gate 30 is on the emotional center. So here's, the juicy feeling of passion. And this is desire. This is desire energy. So this is not sexual desire. This is desire. I want this. I want to be happy. I want to have this job. I want to be with this person. Right? That desire is very powerful and it can drive you to do things outside of what your strategy is or what your authority is. So you have to be watchful that you're not always saying yes from this powerful desire, but that you're saying yes to the right things that are in alignment with your passion, and then waiting for the right person in the right time, and then executing via your very powerful sacral energy. Boom. All right. That was kind of fun. I like doing that. Hopefully that she says, "I'm patiently waiting to hear about a new job and it's driving me crazy." So go out and live your life, sweetheart, while you're waiting. That is all you can do. And while you're doing other things, keep focused on what it was that you wanted to devote your energy to. What is it about that job that you like? What is it that's going to fulfill for you? That's what you want to focus on rather than the I want to jump out of my skin because this is, driving me crazy kind of thing. All right? So, all right. Now, we have 15 minutes. Amazing how fast time flies, and I have so much to talk about. So let's switch gears really quickly here. I wanted to talk about the moon today, but not in terms necessarily of what sign it's in, even though that comes up in the subject. But today we have the moon in a square to the sun, right? We are at the crisis in consciousness action point of the sun, of the lunar sun combination, because we've just had the full moon, right, a week ago. And here we are at the second quarter moon. And this is the time where we bring up this crisis of consciousness. And it's between the moon that's in Gemini and the sun that's in Virgo. So the crisis is about emotional restlessness versus practical focus, right? So in all of us, this is coming up, right? This is the moon in Gemini is curious, adaptable, like, able to focus on a lot of different things, communicative. There's a need for a lot of mental stimulation when the moon is in Gemini. Curiosity gets triggered, right? We want variety in our lives. We want to talk to a lot of people. But then there's the sun that's in Virgo, and the Virgo energy is much more analytical, much more detailed, uh, grounded, right? It's an earth sign and practical. So the sun in Virgo strives for efficiency and organization and perfection, while the moon that's in Gemini is processing emotional energy, the moon, in an intellectualized sort of way through conversation or communication in some way. So the square, which is what this turns out to be, this is a square between these two planets or points, the moon and the sun, and it creates this tension within each of us, right? That offers us opportunities for growth and for learning. But we also have to balance sort of the emotional needs and be flexible. We need variety, but we also need to consciously focus on something. So this energy calls for us to change our consciousness in order to be able to continue on that journey of manifesting that began with the new moon, right? With that new moon back in Leo. And now we're seeing what would be its practical expression out in our lives. So, whatever that intention was, whatever that new seed that was planted is now coming up for an evaluation in terms of, well, is this the right thing? If I want this, I'm going to have to shift my beliefs or my consciousness in order to accommodate that new thing. And it can create this mental overload. A day like today can definitely create mental overload, or can also trigger us to realize we need order in our lives, that our desks are too messy, we can't find anything when we want it, that kind of thing, right? So we have that all going on today. But we're also balancing the logical energies of Mercury-driven Gemini and Virgo against the moon's emotions, right? So the moon, the emotional body, the emotions, and that can bring up communication challenges. We might be having trouble. We feel one way, but we're having trouble putting words to it or really seeing, what the practical expression is. So we have to balance logic with emotion and also then create a pathway toward moving forward, um, really feeling our way forward, I guess, is how we would want to do it. So, practical advice here, prioritize self care, right? If you're feeling yourself spinning out with anxiety or you feel yourself getting too nitpicky or perfectionistic, you know, go do something different, right? Get out of your house, right? Go outside, do anything different than what you've been doing. Be flexible within the Virgo structures, right? So don't get caught up with the mind here saying it has to be this way, it has to be at this time, it has to look this way, it has to be with this person, because those kinds of things are sure to blow up when you have a square. So be flexible, pay attention to what you need in terms of what level of anxiety you're feeling or what level of physical discomfort, even. Um, Change up the atmosphere, do something different. Now, the biggest news that I wanted to talk about, and I'll have to end with this one today, is that Saturn is now moved into the gate 63 today, right? So Saturn is in retrograde. So this is a gate he hit briefly earlier in the year, and now he's backward into it again. And he's going to sit here for a very long time until I think it was January 28th. So we have this long term planet of structure and form and duty and due diligence, standing, kind of still, if you will, at this gate in your human design, which happens to be up on the head center on the top right side. One of you, I can't remember who I was talking to this morning, had the gate 63 defined, the whole channel 63.4. I think it was you, Catherine. Um, and so now you're going to add Saturn to whatever planet it was that we discussed that was sitting at the gate 63 in your human design. So, and those of you who don't have gate 63 defined, you now have a very powerful planet of karmic lessons, and duties and responsibility, accountability sitting on the gate 63. So let's take a look at what 63 is all about, because in quantum human design, it's about curiosity, right? It's more about taking a look at what's possible, because the gate 4 is receiving the energy of Saturn sitting at 63. The gate 4 is about possibility. But we also have doubt, right? We have suspicion. We have this idea that maybe, we're questioning everything about what's real, what's not real. Is that logical? It's in the logic circuit. And logic, of course, is only one way of knowing, and that can cause us a lot of headaches when we're trying to make something logical that is not logical, or when we're thinking that the only way to make decisions is through logic, right? So here are some important aspects for us to tune into, for this Saturn transit. And the first thing is about a challenge. Saturn is going to often lay down a gauntlet of sorts, right? There's some challenge that you're being asked to rise up to. It's presented to you as a challenge, perhaps for you to overcome or for you to move through. And the first thing here is about the challenge of your established beliefs, right? If Saturn tends to bring form and structure and discipline, that's another word, but it also enforces the lessons that you need to learn in that gate through challenges, right? That's the challenge. It encourages us to question our our beliefs. Why do I believe this? Question your assumptions, because we all have them, right? We assume that because, I've always had an issue communicating with XYZ person, that I'm always going to have a problem talking with people like that person, which is simply not true. right? It's simply not true. It's a belief. So we are being strongly urged to evaluate the thought patterns that we have, the societal norms that we've been adhering ourselves to, looking at them critically, right? Using skepticism. I guess skepticism is a healthier word than doubt. Skepticism as a tool for growth. And how that works is that doubt if you're not turning that doubt inward, which is exactly what we do, which is incorrect for that gate. We can turn the doubt that we have inward on ourselves. We doubt our hearts, we doubt our minds, we doubt our abilities, we doubt our talents, right? That's not what this is meant to be about. This is about doubting or being skeptical for what you hear about on the outer world, and using that skepticism or that doubt as a way to grow by taking that energy and looking for answers that are more meaningful to you, and refining the idea, or removing what's unnecessary from that idea or from that pattern that you are stuck in, and then focus what stands up to scrutiny, right? What's left when you take off all the fluff? What is left is usually true. There's even a scientific principle about that, Occam's razor, right? So being willing to use doubt rather than turning it internally at yourself, with the exception of if you're looking at your own beliefs about something, peel away the layers, right? Remove what is not really true. And then there's a certain amount of patience and endurance that has to come up with this particular gate as a process of getting, some clarity. So you can be challenged in the face of doubt here because of not being patient to move through what it is that's coming up. And the doubt might not be resolved quickly. So get that out of your head, right? It's not going to be done one and done. For some people, that might be the case. For others, it's going to take some time. Saturn is here until January, right? We have time. We have time to endure uh, by looking at those inner prompts that are coming up for us, right? This teaches us the importance then of not rushing into conclusions, or allowing, rather, the ability to question ourselves, to not question or doubt our own selves, but the things that we've been telling ourselves about what's possible, right? You've always been telling yourself it's not possible for you to start your own business because, like, I don't have the money. That's true. I mean, it may be true that there isn't money there, but lots of businesses have gotten started with very little business cash, right? Very little cash outlay. So stop and ask those questions. Is this really true? Right? Since the gate 63 is in the head center, which deals with mental pressure, right? It's mental pressure to answer questions like how. 63 wants to know, can you prove it? Right? How can I prove that this is the right thing? So the transit of Saturn here can amplify all of our mental anxieties. So being prepared for that, you might need to have disciplines that take you out of your head, right? Get you back in your body. So things like yoga or meditation or gardening or walking or an exercise plan. It's crucial for all of us to remember that this a planet sitting here is challenging, and it's going to be a long-term challenge. So some days are going to be maybe worse than others, but the idea here is to manage doubt without getting overwhelmed by it. Don't get overwhelmed by it. And there are practical applications for this energy. The biggest one is about reviewing your long term goals. Saturn is about the long term. And this is very much about looking ahead at the long term, and do the goals really line up with what is true for you or what is authentic for you? And then, to get there to that goal, do I have the foundation set up to support me getting there? Right. So Saturn's transit here is going to encourage us to pay attention to the details, because he's in Pisces, right? Pisces is opposite of Virgo. Virgo is the details, Pisces is the creative inclination, and it's suitable then for us to be thinking about the details and the bigger picture. The details and the bigger picture, right? And then reevaluating whether you're on the right track. Is this the right direction? Now, on a larger scale, out in the bigger world, right, the bigger, wider world, this transit affects our collective thinking as well, right, leading us to question societal structures. Why do we believe? Why do we have this status quo? How can we upset the status quo? And we may be seeking new answers to long-standing issues, right? It's interesting to see how the mood of this energy will shift us into uh, looking at how we can really claim our authority in the world, but also how we are perceiving the energies, the information that's out there, and are we aligned with it in some way? So, in summary, if we look at this transit over the course of time, it brings a disciplined, focused energy to us. But in the process, we might feel some mental pressure and anxiety around solving issues or solving problems that are being complicated by our own self doubt. So we need to work through doubt, but we're also being taught the importance of patience and of perseverance in the face of uncertainty, right? That's a biggie, right? Saturn here. And again, I said he'll be here till January 28th of 2025. So starting today, all the way through January. So it's a long-term transit. All right. I have way more I wanted to share, but I'll do that in writing, I think. Let's do let's get Guides of the Hidden Realms card this morning. By the way, I just joined. I don't know if you guys even knew this was out there, but Hay House has an Oracle card deck of the month club, if you will. And I've joined that club, because oh, that flew out. Because my daughter sent me she showed me these pictures of these decks of cards, Kyle Gray's new deck and a deck from somebody else, two other decks. And like for 30 or 40, was it $40 with tax, every quarter you get 3 new decks of cards. Who knew? So, anyway, this is a card that says, "What is holy? What is true?" And appreciation, witnessing the unmerited gift of grace. Isn't that a beautiful card? I love that card. Okay, so it's card number 14. Let's see if I can find it in here. And what is holy? What is true? And the key concepts are recognizing the sacred quality of life, appreciation, excuse me, witnessing the unmerited gifts of grace, and miracles. I love miracles. There are moments when your entire being resonates with the sacred, knowing that you are in the right place. You stand in a place of witnessing, of being present, and in deep appreciation. This can happen effortlessly when you practice daily gratitude and choose to see the world and everything in it as a sacred gift from the divine. When you are so connected to spirit, you see through the lens of spirit, and miracles are easy to spot. Even the tiniest ones sparkle in your eyes as great and valuable gifts. Right now, know that whatever is moving through your life is an essential part of your destiny. Be present and be grateful, for this is holy and this is true and in perfect divine form. You are in an auspicious place, and you can be assured that all is well. Relinquish the focus and need for more on the outside, turn inward. Appreciation and reverence for the divine is all you need. Be open to receive your blessings. I love that card. That's perfect, right? Perfect. All right. Now, that's it for me today. I will be on air Wednesday this week as Tam will be with me. Unbelievably, it's time for us to take a look at September. And that's what we'll be doing on Wednesday at 8 o'clock right here. And I will also be on air on Friday. So that's it for me today, though. See you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.